Hi friends, we're going to read another story from my very first Winnie the Pooh growing up book. I know some of you have had good dreams and some of you had bad dreams, but today we are going to be hearing about Pooh's bad dream. Winnie the Pooh stood back and admired his work. 10 pots of honey, he sighed happily. Very nice, said Tigger. Just make sure that horrible Hufflepuff doesn't eat them tonight. Heffalump, not Hufflepuff. I need to smell wash. The horrible Hufflepuff? Asked Pooh. He's a greedy gobbler, said Tigger. You've seen him? Asked Pooh. No, said Tigger, but it's even worse when you don't see him. You can't be too careful when a Heffalomp's sneaking around. I'll be careful, said Pooh. Row. Tigger growled Tigger bravely. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Good night, Tigger. Pooh locked his door. His house seemed big and empty. He climbed into bed and pulled his quilt up over his nose and stayed that way for a long time. Horrible Huffalump, he thought, must keep watch. He watched and he watched and he watched until he couldn't keep his eyes open any longer. Then suddenly his house shook like thunder. A big red Heffalump crashed through the door. He broke dishes and toppled the lamps. He stomped to Pooh's cupboard and guzzled up 3 pots of honey. Oh! Pooh cried. The Heffalump turned and looked at Pooh with his horrible green eyes. He snuffed him with his long blue snout. Ho, ho, he said. Now I'm going to eat you. The Heffalump scrunched a honey pot down over Pooh's head. Humph, cried Pooh. He jumped out of bed. He reached up to pull the pot off his head, but the pot was gone. The Heffalump was gone too. Where is he hiding? Wondered Pooh. He was afraid to look. He ran to Piglet's house as fast as he could. Horrible Heffalump is hiding in my house, huffed Pooh. Uh-huh, a hef? A who? Asked Piglet, rubbing his eyes. A Heffalump, hurry! Piglet had no time to think. If he had time to think, he certainly would not be rushing out on a night to help Pooh find a horrible Heffalump. Come out, Heffalump, cried Pooh. Piglet grabbed Pooh's broom and held it over his head. Pooh? Asked Piglet, who had finally time to think. What will we do with the Heffalump when we find him? Pooh thought and thought and thought. Maybe we should get Christopher Robin, suggested Piglet. Good thinking, said Pooh. Christopher Robin was in bed when they arrived. Poor Pooh, he said. You must have had a bad dream. Heffalumps aren't real. He was real, said Pooh. I felt him snuff me with his blue snout. He said he was going to eat me. If there's a Heffalump in your house, then Piglet and I will help you find him, said Christopher Robin stoutly. We will? I mean, yes, we will, said Piglet. Together they mounted an expedition to find the horrible Heffalump and chase him from Pooh's house forever. They looked under Pooh's bed. They looked behind his mirror. They lifted the tablecloth and peered under the table. They opened his cupboard. All 10 pots stood side by side, just as Pooh had left them. Pooh scratched behind his ear. It must have been a dream. But why did it seem so real? Have you guys ever had a dream that seemed so real? I have. Dreams can seem real, said Christopher Robin, but they happen only in your mind. Oh, said Pooh, but if I was asleep, how could my mind be making up heffalump? Every night when your body sleeps, your brain stays awake part of the time, said Christopher Robin. That's when you're dreaming, cried Piglet. Right, said Christopher Robin. Usually dreams are nice, or they're just boring, and you forget about them as soon as you wake up. But if you're especially tired or worried about something, then sometimes a dream turns into a bad dream or a nightmare. I was a little worried, said Pooh, thinking of what Tigger had said, and I'm so sleepy, but... Piglet tucked Pooh into bed. What if my brain brings the heffalump back? Asked Pooh. It's your dream, said Christopher Robin. You're in charge. If he comes back, just look him in the eyes and say, Heffalump, go away. Heffalump, go away. Heffalump, go away. Heff, go, Pooh repeated until he was fast asleep. Piglet and Christopher Robin tiptoed out. Then suddenly, Pooh's house shook like thunder. The big red heffalump stomped right up to Pooh's bed. Hoo! He boomed. Heffalump, go! Ah! Tried Pooh. The heffalump was muddled. What? Go away, said Pooh huskily. The heffalump stopped. His lips began to tremble. Tears came to his eyes. What's wrong? Asked Pooh. I just wanted a little snack, that's all, said the heffalump. And now you're sending me away. Pooh began to feel sorry. He had been so rough with the heffalump. I'm feeling a bit rumbly in my tumbly too, he said. Would you like to share a pot of honey? The big heffalump looked rather silly sitting in Pooh's little chair. But he didn't seem to mind. This time, Pooh and the heffalump dreamed a sweet dream together. That was a nice story. It was sad that Pooh did have a nightmare, but he turned it into a good dream. Remember, sometimes a dream is just a dream. It may seem scary in the moment, but that moment will pass. I hope you guys have a great day and an awesome time at home, and I hope to see all of you very, very soon. Bye!